Warning, the podcast you're about to hear has a unique conservative perspective and may be politically incorrect, containing some controversy in its message. This episode may speak out against liberalism, socialism, the dark state, and religious organizations. It is possible that evil in politics, education, law, society, and religion will be discussed and exposed. However, we believe this podcast adds truth and value to a mature, disenfranchised audience who may be tired of apostate religions and wicked world systems. Listeners who are easily offended, overly sensitive, or have progressive leanings sympathetic to the topics we expose should be forewarned not to listen any further. We thank both those who choose to listen as well as those who choose not to listen. You've been warned. And now, let us get on with the show.
Hello, everybody. It's Freedom Friday. Today's the 16th of December, 2016. We're heading to the home stretch into a new year. Maybe. Anyway, we welcome you all here. Appreciate you downloading or streaming or whatever you do to listen to the podcast. We really do. It's weird out there. It's very strange. And nothing's real, folks. So that's what I'm going to talk about. Nothing is real. Do we honestly think that this is the world that the Almighty Creator created? Do we honestly think this is it? Do we look like do we even look like His image in these bodies? We live in a fallen world. Things changed. There is a consummation of the age coming. It can't come soon enough. We're sojourners. We're just visitors. We are the aliens. We don't need to look up in the sky and look for aliens coming from the stars. We are the aliens. We don't belong here. We're sojourners. We're aliens. We're strangers on this rock. This is not our home. Nothing's real here. There's nothing of spiritual significance here. There's nothing of spiritual value in this world. It starts off when your eyes open. It starts off that, well, you can't watch certain movies anymore because of the filth and degradation, the language, the content. You can't listen to certain music anymore because of that. And then it starts progressing. Well, it's not only just the movies, but then, wow, these comedians or this comedy show that you used to like, all of a sudden you noticed, wow, I didn't notice that, how filthy it was. I mean, this really happens. I mean, when How I Met Your Mother, when that show first came out, I thought that was the funniest thing since sliced cheese. I thought that show was hilarious. And when the DVDs would come out, I bought the DVD series and I watched it, and funny, you know. And it wasn't until one night we had a guest over the house and we were praying, and what happened is demonic forces began to manifest. Demonic forces begin to manifest into this person. And so we ended up having a deliverance session, a heavy duty deliverance session, and demonic entities were cast out. But there was a lingering spirit of fear that we were still working on throughout the night. So this guest was staying the night, and so we said, well, let's take a break. Put on the TV. We'll just watch something mindless and kind of take a break, and then we'll talk about this and hit it, later type of thing, because there was still some issues to deal with. And so I put on this How I Met Your Mother DVD and watching it, and I was sitting there with this person, and I was watching it, and we were like kind of just taking a mental break. I know it sounds kind of weird, but we had been working at this for a long time, so we were just taking a break to attack it, in the morning or during the daylight or, later on. And as this show began to play, I had no idea it was so filthy. I'd been watching it for a long time, thought it was funny, and then under the light of deliverance, it was filthy. I mean, everything was filthy. So the lesson there is, shut it down, obviously. It was like, wow, I had no idea. My point is that you begin to change. And so then what happens is then you go, well, that's weird. And then all of a sudden, other innocuous things like just commercials, you begin to see them differently. You begin to hear songs on the radio, whether familiar or unfamiliar, and you begin to hear them differently and see things differently. And your eyes begin to get opened to just the trash in the world. Nothing is of value. Nothing. I'm serious. It is all an illusion. This is not real. This is not real. Today I was reading in the paper, and one of my, he's a friend of mine. I play music with him. He's a friend of mine. He wrote an editorial in the local paper, and he was blasting the Republicans, and he says, get off your high horse. Quit saying that you won. You won. Obviously Hillary got the most popular votes and this and that. And it really kind of surprised me because I like I said, I play music with the guy. I did not know he had that kind of political viewpoint, because when you're playing music, politics just doesn't matter. What matters is the groove. And he's still my friend, and I'll still play with him. I don't care. But what surprised me is all the comments. And of course, there was a big bantering going back and forth on this letter to the editor. I'm reading this online, by the way. So there's a lot of comments. But what got me is that both sides were going back and forth between Trump and Hillary. Hillary won the popular vote. Trump didn't. The Electoral College. What is this? This is unconstitutional. No, it's constitutional. We've had that. No, because we didn't have that. California and New York were the popular vote. Unless if you want every president selected by California and New York, then you got to have the Electoral College. But that blah, 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 and the Russians and blah, 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 right? And as I'm reading this back and forth, and of course, not only reading this, you hear this over and over, day after day, day after day, day after day. The thing is, folks, if you still believe that your vote elects a president, you're still asleep. None of this matters. It's all an illusion. Did I vote? Yes, I did. I personally voted. I personally got off my seat, went down to a voting booth and waited about 30 minutes, and I personally voted. Do I believe my vote counted? Absolutely not. You know why I did it? I did it so just I could say that I did something, because I honestly believed that Hillary would be the next president, because I thought that was the one who was selected by the oligarchy, by the shadow government, by the elites, the globalists, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them. They're the ones who set up who's going to be in power in this society, on this globe, on this planet. It is an illusion. But I honestly thought she was going to win, and I said, I cannot sit there and complain for the next 8 years when I didn't do anything myself, even though I don't believe it counts as anything. I need to do something. And it was a matter of relieving kind of frustration for me. And it's not that, I worship Trump and he's Cyrus. He's God's Cyrus. He's God's anointed. BS. I did it because the other side was so obvious in their corruption. It was so in your face. I couldn't stand it anymore. I couldn't take it. But if we honestly think that our votes really matter, whether it's electoral college or popular vote, do you really think that matters to the Bilderbergs, the Bilderbergers? Build your own burger. Do you think it matters? Do you think our little opinions matter, our little bantering? You've heard You've heard us talk about the Hegelian dialect. You know, you have the thesis, then you have the antithesis, and that equals the synthesis. And the synthesis is a new thing. So you take the thesis, you take something like, well, in this case, it's progressive liberalism. And then you take the antithesis of that. You take this guy who now claims he's a conservative when he was a liberal Democrat before. So now you have an antithesis. And you marry the two, and you come up with a synthesis. You come up with something totally new and totally different. Does that sound like a new world? A new human, a new species? It's not about the sheep and about the slaves. We're nothing but food. We're nothing but food for these things. The serpent, they feed off the dust of the earth. We've heard this over and over again. This is what this is. It's all a show. Do you honestly think any of this is real? I've said this from the very beginning, in the beginning of this American election, that it was a soap opera. It's one big reality show because every day something new comes up to keep us distracted and keep us glued to the stupid media. Because something new is going on, and it hasn't stopped. Every day it's something new. And we're discussing this like it's real. It's like discussing some kind of TV show or some movie, and you're talking like it's real. Oh, those cowboys killed all the Indians. It was terrible. It was a movie. You get my point. We go to a restaurant several times a week, and this one particular restaurant we go to, we sit in the same booth all the time. And where I sit, right behind Miss Capal's head, is a large screen TV, and they always have it on CNN, always. The sound is off, but it's on CNN. And as we're talking, I can see the screen, and I'm constantly reading the banner underneath the screen. And it's hilarious because every time I sit down, they don't talk about anything else but Trump. Nothing else is going on in the world. Nothing else matters. It's just what Trump is doing. Oh my God, his kids. His kids were invited to a top secret transition meeting. What's up with his kids? Oh, we don't like his pick for this cabinet position. Oh, what is he doing here? Did he dye his hair? He's not going to live in a White House. What kind of dog is he going to pick? Folks, it's a reality show. It's just like one of those novellas. It's one of those Mexican soap operas. It's all drama. It's all about drama. Jill Stein, her recount, millions of dollars into a stupid recount that failed. Do you think that was real? These electors that are being harassed and attacked and threatened, and Monday comes and they may not vote for him, and he's not the president until. Do you honestly think that's going to happen? Do you think this is real? It's not real. This is all phony. This world. The system, the world that we live in is not real. It's almost like this is why television came into being. It's why video came into being. When television came in and then we started having programming, quote unquote, programming. It's like the mini version of what's really happening. We're sojourners here. We're the aliens. They're the inhabitants of this rock. We weren't created to be on this level. We were created in God's image. We were spirit beings clothed in righteousness and spirit. God is spirit. He should be worshiped in spirit and truth. We were never supposed to be in these reptile suits, these flesh suits of snake skin. Something very, very wrong happened thousands of years ago. And that serpent seed entered into the woman. Now, let's not get all caught up on, well, did Eve have sex with the serpent? Don't think in this plane. It's a spiritual thing. It's obvious a serpent seed was in that woman, and it was activated when Adam knew his wife, Eve, and they bear twins. Oh, Brother Kapow, where are you getting this? Extra biblical sources. Oh, no, you're reading other things. One was Cain and one was Abel, but Cain was not the son of Adam. It wasn't like his likeness. Why? Because there's serpent seed. There was a fall. Something very, very, very wrong happened. And there's a redemption for those who will take that redemption. Unfortunately, that gate, it's unfortunate. It is unfortunate. The gate is so freaking small and narrow that few people can find it. It's a little teeny path. Come on. Why didn't God make it big and broad and big neon signs? Here it is. Here it is. The way to redemption. The way to open your eyes. Get out of it. Here it is. Well, he didn't. He didn't. I don't know why. He made it small, and it's not easy to find. And there's a lot of people out there who think they've found it, and they think their eyes are open, and they're not. They're just as confused as they're always confused. And they mix their paganism. Oh, yeah, they mix their paganism with their theology, and they mix their religion with their ritual. And it's all about relationship, right? As they do the ritual, as they do their paganism, as they do everything that's anti-God and anti-Christ. None of it's real. None of it's real. We're not supposed to be on this plane, this interdimensional plane. We weren't supposed to be here. Now we're born into these flesh suits. We're born into slavery. You're either a slave to sin or a slave to Christ. But very few get out of the slavery of sin. And as your eyes become open, you see more and more of this trash, and more of it's not real. You can't watch a commercial anymore. You can't turn on you can't watch cable news anymore because everything is a lie. This big thing about fake news. Everything's fake news. Alternative media is fake news. Well, the Freedom Friday show, it's right there when we do the taglines. It says alternative news. Alternative media. Why is it alternative? Because it's not the mainstream. Because I want to tell you the truth. I want to tell you the truth that you live in a fallen world and there's only one way out, and that's a little teeny narrow gate, and you got to find that thing. We've been warning you since this show started about perilous times. That's all we do. It's just warn. This ain't fake. You want fake news? Turn on CNN. You want fake news? Watch Rachel Maddow. You want fake news? Hey, go to Fox. Oh, that conservative channel, Fox. Go to Fox and watch some fake news. Watch Bill O'Reilly. Watch all those people. You want fake news? That's fake news. Watch Don Lemon on CNN. That's a fake. Fake news. It's all fake. What do you mean fake news? It's all fake. It's all fake. Really? Donald Trump is the president? Really? By accident, because the all American people were just tired of Hillary. Really, Hillary was going to run? Really? That's who you put as your best person? Really? You really believe that? It's not real. There's something else going on. I can't tell you what's going on. I don't know. I do know that the word of the Lord says that men's hearts will be failing them for fear, because of those things that are coming upon the earth. I will tell you that. What those things are, I can't tell you definitively. My personal opinion, I believe the sky's going to fall. I don't believe in nuclear war. I don't believe in all that stuff. Economic collapse, blah, blah, blah. I think the sky's going to fall. I think a big rock is coming. Whatever you want to call it, I think some big rocks are coming. Wormwood, like a mountain on fire. A big rock. And when it does, there's no human ingenuity, there's no military, there's no plan to deal with that. They're going to go underground. Why do you think the elites have underground cities and they're building more and more and more? Why? Well, all the sheep, all the idiots are out here arguing whether it's electoral college or popular vote or what we're going to do or we don't like Trump's cabinet. Or whatever. They're falling into all the BS, all the fake news. It's all fake because there's something else coming. You can feel it. You can feel it. And I'm not trying to be sensational here and go just about my experiences. I know other people who are not believers. They're not even close to being believers. Know something's wrong. And where I live, and there could be a great explanation for this, there's booms all the time. Sky booms. Like thunder. When it's not raining, when there's no clouds, I don't know, maybe that's just, desert weather, but they're booms. And I know other people that hear them. They hear them in the house. I hear them other places. When I'm out in public, I hear booms. I was in a place last week with about a dozen other people. And I was setting up my drums. I was going to play with this band. And I heard this boom. And I felt it. And I looked up and I went, what was that? And the guys that were setting up their guitars and everything, they didn't even look up. I looked up out over the bar area. People were drinking and smoking and gambling. And no one even looked up. They were all watching this game show like it was reality. I swear it was the weirdest thing because I looked up and they were all watching this game show, kind of like Price is Right or something. And they were going, oh, look at that. Mary Jo just won the motorcycle here. No one heard the boom. How come I heard it? No one heard the boom. Am I the only one hearing booms? Until I talked to some other people. They're hearing it in their homes. But that day, no one heard the boom. Weird. But it was distinct for me. Maybe it's not real. Maybe I'm kooky. I don't know. There's things going on. The other day, the moon out here had a ring around it that was miles out. It was a perfect, at 10 o'clock at night. I got a picture of it. Big, huge ring. It wasn't like one of those rings, it's going to rain the next day. And by the way, it didn't rain the next day. This was like last week. No rain. Huge. It went out miles from the moon. Perfect. I get a text from one of my neighbors. Have you seen the moon tonight? Because they know I'm crazy. I said, yeah, got done walking the dog. It's absolutely amazing. I took a picture of it. What's that all about? I don't know. But I think it's the end of the world. That's always my answer. And then they go, ha ha ha, you're funny. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I can't tell you what it is. I'm sure some scientist out there can give me a logical explanation and give me the right logical scientific term for it. But all I know is that the Bible says there's going to be signs in the heavens, in the sun and in the moon and the stars and on earth. Signs. Are these signs? One, I don't know. 2 things, I don't know. Now here comes 3. Well, there's a logical explanation. Here comes 4, logical explanation. Dozens and dozens of weird, strange, supernatural, paranormal things, signs. I don't have logical explanations for all of these things. I just don't. But I think we're in the home stretch here. And we're aliens on this planet. We're sojourners on this planet. That's why Jesus Christ, who's the creator God, he came down, he's made flesh. Not as baby Jesus that we're all celebrating at Christmas time. Little baby Jesus in a manger. It's not about baby Jesus. It's about the grown Jesus being crucified as a sacrifice for us. He took our sin. You get it? Upon himself. There was no way out of the prison we're born in. He did that. The Creator God did that to redeem his creature, to bring us back to the garden. And the thing that's important is that he defeated death, the very angel of death that said to Eve, if you eat of my fruits and take my seed, thou shalt not surely die. Did God say you would die? He don't want you to be like us. God's eyes opened, wisdom, knowing good and evil. Satan, the god of death, Mut, the god of death. Samael, the god of death, in the garden. Jesus defeated him. Jesus defeated him. Oh, death, where is thy sting? Where's your victory? There is no victory. Because Christ defeated him. God, the Creator God, has redeemed his creature back to the garden. But we have to, there's obedience involved in that. We have to keep the command. God's commandments never stopped. I'm not talking about the Mosaic law. I'm talking about the commands of God. Thou shalt not have no other gods before me. You can't have a baby Jesus in your manger and go, that's okay. That's not an image. That's not an image. God will bless my pagan ritual. Merry ho ho Christmas to all of you. God will bless my pagan ritual. It's okay. Just one time of year I could do pagan rituals and it's okay. It's not real. That holiday's not real. It's not real. It's not where we should be. You ever go on vacation? And, cruise ship. Miss Capel and I went on a cruise ship years ago. Boy, it's nice. They're serving you nice, meals. You can eat anytime you want. You're assigned certain people that are assigned to you, and they're making your bed, and they're giving you drinks, and, blah, 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 taking care of you, and it's wonderful. And then we had a good time, and then we noticed that on the last day, as we're going back to port, all those servants and all those people, after they got their tip, right, were gone. They weren't around anymore. They were gone. And I was like, hello, where'd everybody go? Because it wasn't real. It wasn't reality. It was a fantasy. You're on a cruise ship. You're on vacation. Their job is to make you feel like you're having a good time, you're special, but it's over. It's not real. Then you got to go back to your home, and you got to go back to your bills, and your broken down car, and your crazy kids, etc. It's not real. And you ever go anywhere on vacation and go, oh, this is so nice, I want to live here, I want to live here. But you talk to the locals, and they go, oh, no, you don't want to live here because of this and this and this and that, right? Years ago, Linda and I, we used to, travel all around, and, in our 30s, that's all we did. Just spend our money, living high off the hog. We really did. One of our favorite places we'd like to go was in California on the coast, a place called Cambria. We loved Cambria. It was beautiful. Right on the coast, beautiful little village there. And one time we went there, I was talking to this man. Actually, he owned a Bible bookstore there. And I thought, wow, is that incredible? This was after 2006. This is probably a little, summer 2006. I hadn't been saved very long. And I went to Cambria and met this guy. And I said, wow, this is incredible. Can you imagine having a Bible bookstore in a beautiful place like this and everything? And he was telling me, he says, oh, no, you wouldn't want to live here. The mold is so incredible. It's so moist here from the ocean that your wood rots and you get mold here. And he's blah, 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 blah. And he's you can't get insurance because your house is going to fall down. And he was saying it like it was because he lived there. It's totally different than what you think it is. It wasn't real. The thing I had in my head wasn't real. I was just a visitor. It wasn't real. Abraham was told by God himself, you're just a sojourner. You're going to go, I want you to go to the land that I'm going to give you. Not the land he already had. Or that he gave, I'm going to give you. Get up and go there. Go walk. Oh, and by the way, you're never going to see it. You're going to live a ripe old age and go to your fathers, but your descendants will. No, that's faith, right? To have to keep holding on to that. Oh, you're not going to see it, but sometime way, way in the future, your descendants will have it. The promised land, as we all know, it's the spiritual Zion. It's not the physical son of Hagar. It's not the physical mountain. It's not Palestine in the Middle East. It's a spiritual land. That's where we're from. That's where we're from. We're not from here. So the world system created by the oligarchy, the fallen angels, the fallen ones, this society, this world is not of God. There's nothing of value. And look at us today. Look at us today. Look at the technology. These kids are using the technology of live streaming, and they're live streaming their extreme drunkenness to other quote-unquote friends on social media. And they're so drunk, they're falling over or getting naked and doing weird things and sex acts as they stream live. Have you noticed there's a big trend, too? People are doing weird things as they stream live. They're have hostage situations, or they're barricaded suspects and the cops are outside and they're streaming themselves live on Facebook. Or they're killing their girlfriends and they're streaming it live on Facebook. And you see that and you go, really? This is what we are doing with the technology. We're not curing cancer, not curing AIDS. We're not colonizing Mars. And we're certainly not inventing a garden hose that won't kink. No, we're going to live stream ourselves doing stupid things. That's what technology is. It's not real. It means nothing. It means nothing. 2 days ago, I had a dream. I had a dream, and it was frightening. I was on a bus. I was in the passenger seat of a bus or a large vehicle carrying people. and there was a driver, and his name was Harry. Really? Really, Paul? That's what you're going to tell us right now? You had a dream about a guy named Harry, and this has spiritual significance. Why? Well, listen. His name was Harry, and I looked over at Harry, and in my dream, I looked at the road, and we're barreling down the road. We're just barreling down this highway. And I looked over at Harry, and Harry's fast asleep. He's asleep at the wheel. And in my dream, I'm yelling at Harry to wake up, and I am smacking him in the head, and I'm using open palm strikes right to the front of his face. I am smacking him right in the face, his nose and lips, as hard as I can with an open palm, with all the strength I have, and I'm yelling, Harry, wake up. And guess what? I couldn't wake Harry up. He didn't wake up. But I did from that dream. And I woke up startled and frightened because I knew this guy was behind the wheel. He's asleep and he's carrying all these people right off into the abyss. I didn't know what it meant. I shared it with Miss Kapow the next morning, just like 2 days ago. I shared it with her. Said, I don't know what this means. I just had a weird dream. She said, okay, weird dream. Then last night, I went to bed, and that was it. And in my sleep, the interpretation of that dream came to me. The name Harry is an acronym for the human race. Suffice it to say, Harry, the name Harry, like I told you before, sometimes strange dreams or strange names or events are there on purpose so that you can remember it. That's what makes it strange. Like, why would I dream about a guy named Harry? But it was an acronym for the human race, for the very stupid, asleep human race. And what came to me last night was that what I saw in my dream, slapping Harry behind the wheel, sound asleep, can't wake him up, was exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying to slap certain people who are asleep into waking up because they are careening down a road of destruction. And I see it all around me. You could just see it all around you, and there's nothing you can do. You can't save them. You could just do what you're told to do by the Almighty. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the answers to any of that. But all I know is that Jesus Christ, God made flesh, warned us about the world, about the place we're in. He warned us about that. He even said things like, well, deny yourself and pick up your cross and follow me. And where was he going? Well, he was going to death. He said weird things. Like you'd have to give your life up in order to gain it. Huh? And you'd have to hate certain members of your household. Well, you couldn't love them more to God. You'd have to be willing to give up certain things. Wow. And then along comes the Apostle Paul, and he says crazy things too. About not being conformed to the world, but transformed in your spirit. It's biblical. Abraham was a sojourner. We're all sojourners. After your salvation, you're a sojourner. And you're on that road. Sometimes you wonder why are you here? Is it you that have to learn all these lessons? I think that's some of it. God's a holy God. It's a holy heaven. It's a holy dimension. Flesh is not going to enter that dimension, and neither is a fleshly spirit or a fleshly mind. If we are, in fact, two natures, which the Bible seems to indicate that we have these dual natures in us, there is a duality of serpent seed and the seed of the woman in us, and it depends on what we give into. What we yield ourselves to is what we become a slave to. So we're already born into a slave planet, a slave world. What are we going to yield ourselves to? As Cain did. Cain yielded himself to his anger, his murder, his rebellion. And even God said, hey, if it lurks at the door to destroy you, you can overcome it. Why do you have such a long countenance? What's wrong? But he chose the other nature. You see what I mean? Think about that as you're going on in your life, daily business, what you do. Is God going to bless that activity? That behavior? That's between you and him. That's the covenant between you and him. And the relationship you have and what God reveals to you of his truth. And it has to align with his word that fortunately we have written down for us. Regardless of all the issues and all the problems of translations and all this and all that, we still have his word written down for us, and it's the spirit of the word. It's the spirit of the word that you can't deny. Does the Bible say this or does it say that? In context, biblically, as a whole. And you can't deny the spirit of that. But the world's careening, and 99.99% of the people are fast asleep. That's just the way it is. I didn't make up those rules. It's a narrow little gate. And those who find it, man, you got to stoop down to enter into that little path. Come on, the broad path's much more comfortable. Much more comfortable. It's a little teeny gate you got to find. And then when you do find it, it's a little teeny path. Because we're sojourners. We don't belong here. It's not real. None of it's real. Trump, Hillary, Democrats, Republicans, globalists, this movement, that movement. It's not real. Religion's not real. Religion is not real. It's religion. It's ritual. It's not real. Religion is just man's attempt to feel good about himself. It's not religion. God, you got to hear the God that calls you. He calls you out. Says, "You're my creature. I made you in spirit. I'm trying to get you back into the garden. Trying to redeem you from that fall, from that horrible, 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 horrible event that happened thousands of years ago that turned his creation upside down. Horrible, horrible thing happened. And it's still happening. There's something wrong in this world today. There's something tragically wrong going on around us. You can feel it. You can sense it. You can see it. You can rationalize it. You can rationalize it away, but there's something wrong. It doesn't seem right. Does this really seem right to you? Does What's going on around you? Does it seem right to you when you have a 15-year-old kid decapitating another 15-year-old kid? And he stabbed him so many times that the autopsy took 11 days? Does that seem right to you? Or does that seem like something's horribly wrong? And in Sweden, you had teenagers, 16, 17 years old, rape another 15-year-old Afghan boy. They were all refugees. Took him out in the woods, stabbed him, raped him, bit him on the back. These are teenagers. Does that seem right to you? Does that seem normal? Does that seem like that should be reality? Or is it part of the show? It's not real. It's not what we were created to be. There's something very, very wrong. Those are just news items that pop into my head over and over again every day. These things pop up when they're not talking about American politics. It's distractions. There's something else very, very troubling coming down our way, planet Earth. You can feel it. Now, I'm probably doom and gloom. Maybe because there's a lot of people who don't feel it. There's a lot of people who are very optimistic. Because the dollar's strong. Guess what? The U.S. dollar has not been this strong since 2003. Because Trump's going to make America great again. And the dollar's strong. Stocks are surging. Woo! We're all making a bunch of moolah. That's optimism. But I'm telling you, something's wrong. Something just doesn't seem right. Strong dollar, strong economy, building up our military. Something's wrong. Something doesn't seem right. And I really think it's the final hours that kind of get your house in order. Yeah. I see some weird darkness coming. Okay. I think I've probably been Debbie Downer long enough. I was going to do the news, but something happened. I never got to it. I was going to give you the real news. I guess I did give you the real news, not the fake news. You want fake news? Go watch cable media. Go watch that. That's fake news. Nothing they say is the truth. The world's lying. All these people are Satanists. They are. Because there's only two masters. You only can serve one and hate the other, or love one and hate another. That's the only choice they have. So if they're not following God of all creation, they're Satanists. Simple as that. Simple as that. I don't care how nice they seem. They're liars. Because they're like their father, the liar. He was a liar and a murderer from the start. He murdered us. He's been murdering humans ever since the fall. Oh, really? You're not going to die. Did God say you're going to die? You won't die. Angel of death. Mut. Samiel. Serpent in the garden, folks. That's where it started. So anyway, outside of that, I can't complain. You guys have a nice weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Good night.